Hello, and once again, welcome to my channel. I dedicate this episode for you today in case you are the one who can't get out just yet, for whatever reason. Maybe you need more time to get ready, to get the courage to go. Maybe you are stuck somehow. Maybe it's just not safe yet. Maybe you need more time to plan your exit plan. In the meantime, while you are still being forced to deal with the narcissist, you need a survival guide to go through life with them until you break free. Please allow me to provide you with some tips. By now, you have most likely experienced the rage and temper tantrums. You've been subjected to the silent treatment. You've been verbally abused or possibly other kinds of abuse. You've experienced gaslighting and love bombing continuously. And you probably try to make things easier for yourself by complying and giving in to their demands. But at times, you've also reacted and gotten yourself into situations that you later think back and say, why did I walk right into that? Unfortunately, they push, and they know the buttons, and that's what ends up happening. But I'm here to guide you through a few areas that may help you while you're still in that dynamic. Of course, there is no guarantee by any of the tactics I am sharing here with you today that it may work or it may succeed, because it depends on, again, your dynamic, the way you handle things, the severity of the narcissism that you're dealing with. As you might be aware by now, if you watched several of my videos, that narcissism is a spectrum. You could be dealing with someone on the mild side, or you could be dealing with someone on the high end of the narcissism spectrum. You can't diagnose that yourself. It requires a therapist to study the behavior of the individual in order to decide if they qualify for the term narcissistic personality disorder, or if they just have some narcissistic tendencies, which means they are engaging in narcissistic behaviors. Again, you may not be able to tell which you are dealing with. You are not trained for this, but educate yourself. And I'm glad that you're here watching this video, so maybe you'll understand things a little bit better. And honestly, that is my whole intention here, is for you to be a little bit more educated and have some tools under your belt to be able to handle being with the narcissist as long as you are in that dynamic. Let's begin. I'm going to be referring to my notes here because there's no way I'm going to remember how to tell you everything. Number 1. Predict and be sure that the narcissistic individual will behave in the way they always do. They are sick, and unless they go through therapy, they will never change. Number 2, understand you are not going to change them, and it will not be to your benefit if you confront them and call them out a narcissist. As a matter of fact, it may get worse from here, and their abusive tactics may increase. You're definitely not going to gain anything by blurting out, "Well, you're a narcissist." They may laugh at you, or they may call you a narcissist, or they'll just, like I said, up their abusive tactics. Number 3, do not take this personal. What the narcissist is putting you through, if it's not you, it'll be someone else. It has nothing to do with you. You're not a bad person. You are not being punished for something wrong you did. It's just them being who they are. Okay? And yes, we've been told to accept people as they are, with their good and with their bad, but not when they're being abusive. You need to draw the line with certain behaviors. You don't accept people that abuse you and step over your boundaries and make you feel like you're going crazy or devalue you. The list can go on here, but that's not the subject of this video today. So I'm just going to continue on with the next point. Number 4, become aware of their patterns. You need to become aware when they get angry, their choice of words, how repetitive and identical their reaction is. That's 3. How predictable they are. And lastly, really this means that you may have the upper hand in knowing what to expect. You cannot prevent it. You cannot stop them from behaving in the way that they do or speaking in the way they do. But what you can do is be prepared and have that upper hand, knowing what to expect. And a few of the points that are coming next is mainly about being prepared and knowing. Let me get into those points. Number 5, you need to observe if similar situations that are happening behind closed doors with you too only are also occurring in public or around other people. You need to see, are they reacting in the same way, or are they changing or altering, or are they able to hold their anger more when they're around other people? Because if they're blaming the situations that are happening, they just can't help it, and that's why they get angry because that's just the way they react to things, then why are they reacting differently with you versus when they are out in public or with other people? It's a huge red flag. A person will always be the same if that's just who they are. But if they're being different in public versus behind closed doors alone with you, and it's worse when they're alone with you, red flag. Anyway, by this point, you already know that you're dealing with a narcissist, though. The red flag's already been up and... Number 6, study their reactions. What happens when you go along and what happens when you don't. Self-explanatory. Number 7, be ready with possible options in response to being around the narcissist. And you may be aware of this, you may have heard about it, read about it, but you have some responses. It's either fight, flight, or freeze. So these are the modes that we normally, as human beings, get into. Fight, obviously, you fight back. Probably that's not the best thing that you could be doing with the narcissist, because you could be subjecting yourself, not subjecting yourself, but you could be endangering yourself into being subjected to physical abuse. You're going to get the verbal abuse and the emotional abuse, but the physical abuse is what you're trying to avoid. So not fighting back may eliminate, it may not guarantee it, like I said, but you try not to fight back to eliminate the chances of them getting physical. Flight is, again, self-explanatory, but it really means you're escaping, you're preventing, you're avoiding, or you're just walking away when the narcissist pushes your buttons. And probably these are good options. They're not, on a general scale, fleeing is not the best option. You should not be running away. You should be confronting things and dealing with them. But when you're in a situation where we're talking about you're being subjected to verbal abuse, emotional abuse, or physical abuse with the narcissist, removing yourself from the situation is probably the best thing. So you're not just going to fight back and answer back, you're also going to avoid, you're going to try to prevent, and you're going to try to remove yourself physically from the situation. And then you have freeze. Freeze is when you're not reacting, you're just stonewalling. You're staying quiet, you're not taking part into any of the arguments, you're not falling for their bait, because they're going to be baiting you. And honestly, freeze mode with the narcissist is probably the best tactic that you can use. Now, try not to be frozen for too much, just temporarily while things are heated up. Okay? Number 8. Do not engage when they start with certain statements that you recognize as insulting or instigating to get you to react. When you refuse to engage with them, you vanquish their control over you. Keep that in mind. Number 9, pick up on the patterns on how they bait you. So I was mentioning in the previous point that recognize the statements. Now I'm saying pick up on the patterns. And all it takes is one comment from them and then you fall for it. Which brings me to the next point, related somehow, number 10. Be aware of your own trigger points and weaknesses that they know about you and they are using against you. That's their weapon, but it's also yours when you're aware of them. Because you are aware when they're triggering that thing in you that gets you all riled up and ready to fight back. If you're aware of what they are, even if they do those things, you're prepared. You're not going to fall for it. You're going to do what? Flight or freeze. Number 11. Anticipate that almost every time they open their mouth, what's going to come out is going to be either something offensive, insulting, accusatory, or plainly just lies. Be prepared for that. Number 12. It is pointless defending yourself when they wrongly accuse you of something. Yes, we all know it's not right or fair, but you're dealing with someone here who is unstable and does not have the maturity, emotional intelligence, or desire to have a peaceful life. Even if they claim that all they want is just peace and happiness. Their intention is always to add fuel to the fire. They are not after resolving any conflicts. They do not care about your feelings, even if they claim that they do. All they really care about is one thing, is for them to be right and for them to win. Win what? I don't know, but that's what they're after. They're also after feeling superior to you, obviously, and everybody else. So give them that. Give them that. Let them have it. Be quiet. Don't challenge them. Let them think they win. All you care about is what? Your safety. So does it matter if they think that they're right? Let them think they're right. Don't argue back. Number 13. Establish healthier boundaries and stick to them. Of course, it will be hard at beginning when you're changing your ways. If you've been behaving in a certain way and they're used to that and all of a sudden you're shifting, so try not to make it too obvious that you're shifting. Just do it randomly. Sometimes you speak up and sometimes you let it go. You need to be smart about it. You need to be patient also and persistent without making them feel that they have lost control over you, because they have to have control over you at all times. Make them think that they have it. But you choose a right time when they are in a good mood, and if you need to let them know about something that you don't like or something that you need to do, you'll need to come and speak very simply and to the point. Don't bring up any past events because they're going to tell you why you're bringing up the past, their favorite statement. You're not going to get anywhere with that. So what you want to focus on now and moving forward. And stick to the facts and no emotions. Nothing about, oh, you make me feel this, or you did that to me and I feel this way and I'm sad and how dare you do this to me. You're pointing fingers and you're poking and you're going to get them to attack you. So the method of how you come and approach something will make a huge difference in the outcome and in how they react to you. Now, they're going to react regardless, but how aggressive they end up reacting to you setting your boundaries or making your requests is going to depend on the way you approach it, the choice of words, your tone, all of that. Of course, I cannot tell you what to say, what not to say, but a few examples here I can tell you is you can say something like, this is what I feel comfortable with, or I don't feel comfortable with this, if they're asking you to do something that you don't want to do. And this is your way of trying to set your boundaries or, to stand up to yourself somehow, some way with what you can. If they are coming back at you with accusations and just attack, remember, do not react. You can just say, yeah, I'm hearing you, I'm listening. I just don't agree with that. We'll just have to agree to disagree. They're not gonna like that. Believe me, they're not gonna like when you tell them we'll just have to agree to disagree, because they want you to agree with them at all times because they're right and you're wrong. Remember, they have to win. Anyways, so I don't want to talk too much about this point, but remember that you need to walk away from this discussion that you know is not going to get anywhere. It's all about them trying to convince you that you're wrong and try and get their way. They're going to continue that all the way to the end. You just have to come to a point where you cut it off and say that, well, this is how it's going to be, and that's it. And there'll be nothing, or hopefully, it will come to a point where there will be nothing else that they will respond. They'll just go blah, 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 venting and being angry and temper tantrum. You don't need to respond to the temper tantrum. You only respond when they direct a question at you. You don't respond when they are commenting. They're commenting, they're entitled to their own opinion. So don't respond. Don't engage, because remember, that's baiting you. They're going to be blurting things out that is insulting, that they're going to create lies about, oh, you always do this, or whatever. You know what I mean? You've been through it already, so you understand. You're going to walk away from the situation. You're going to be quiet. You're not going to respond to every single thing they say. And you're just going to end it by saying something very simple to the point and not pushing their buttons. Now, again, I want to reiterate, if things are getting out of hand, and they're going to become physically abusive, stop talking. Just stop. Even if you were attempting to set a boundary, if it came to a point where it's beyond verbal and emotional abuse at this point, and they're going to be physical with you, they're up in your face and they're, whatever it is that they're doing to you, just stop talking. And it will hopefully just go away by itself and it doesn't get any further. Hopefully. And of course, if you need any professional assistance, therapy, counseling, reach out. Don't do this alone. I always encourage you to reach out to a professional that can assist you through this process. And you know how to reach me. My contact is in the description below the video. Number 14. We got 3 more points to go. Have self-compassion for what you are experiencing with the narcissist. You're going to have feelings of anger, resentment, frustration, and these are all normal feelings to have. Just process your feelings on a daily basis and be aware, be self-aware of your feelings, not to allow those things to influence you while you're interacting with them, because it may come out. Your frustration may come out, your anger may come out. So you want to be in check with your feelings. And then later on, when you leave the dynamic altogether, then you can just go through your healing journey. But now is not the time to be healing from it. Now you're more coping. Okay, I know I hate saying this, but that's what it is. As long as you're in the dynamic with the narcissist, you're in a coping zone. Okay. Number 15, practice the pause. When you find yourself caught up in a nasty spot with the narcissist, I mentioned it before, if you can take a few moments away to take a few deep breaths to calm yourself down, give yourself a self-hug if you can, it may help recenter you and remind you that they're just raging and yelling, that they are sick, and that you're not going to have to deal with this forever. It's just temporary. Last point, number 16. You may not agree with me on what I'm about to say here, but you need to try to develop compassion for the narcissist. Yes, the one that's actually making your life miserable and a living hell and possibly abusing you in all forms. It may help you in coping with the dynamic when you're having that compassion towards them, meaning. You need to calm down and just remember that they're going through their own pain as well. You're going through pain because they're inflicting it on you, but they're also dealing with something dark. Now, it doesn't excuse their behavior. It doesn't make it okay for them to do what they're doing to you. And it's not your job to be at the end of that. That's not okay either, because they choose not to go get help. They choose not to see that what they're doing is wrong. Because I'm sure by now you've already said to them several occasions, I don't like this, you're doing this, and this is hurting me. And they're just pretended and made promises that they're going to change, but nothing ever changed. Or probably at some point just said to you, oh no, you're imagining things or exaggerating, belittling whatever you're saying, and it's as if discrediting all of the feelings that you're feeling, or maybe even denying things that they've said or done. You know, you've been with this narcissist for a long time. You know exactly what you've been subjected to. That's who they have been. That's how they have been treating you. So they're choosing to continue be this way. So you can have compassion for the fact that they are dealing with something very painful, whether it be insecurities or whatever it is that they're dealing with. But you shouldn't have to deal with this. And it's not okay for them to project whatever it is that they're feeling on you. So you can feel sorry for them, but you still need to look after yourself. And while you're still in that dynamic, all you're doing is coping. Until what? Until you break free. Again, I say, all the tactics that I've shared with you today are temporary solutions for you to have some sort of peace in your life, or at least to avoid or prevent things from escalating or from you getting abused further. This is my intention of sharing these tactics with you. They're not a permanent solution. The narcissist is not going to change by you using these things. Don't think that by you using different methods of dealing with them, that there is hope that now, you know, when you start doing this and when you start doing that, then they're going to like reciprocate and you can find a way to make things work. Is it possible? Try therapy. Try going to therapy together. I'm not saying give up like right away, but if you've already tried that, or if you tried to make them go and they said no, again, they're choosing to be this way. And it's not your responsibility to fix them. And you cannot change them. Get that through your head. You cannot change them. And it is not your responsibility to fix them. It is their responsibility to own whatever it is that they're going through and fix it themselves and get the professional help and do the work and make the effort, not yours. Remember, that's their journey they have to go through. You have your own journey. They have theirs. Don't mix the two. Don't take on a load that you have no business taking. Please, I hope you, if anything else, you remember this. Don't take on a load that you have no business taking. The narcissist issues and problems is theirs, not yours. You've probably already tried helping. Didn't get anywhere. Time to go. Time to look after yourself. Time to rid yourself of this abuse. Time for you to breathe and live again and know who you are and do the things that you love and experience love properly, the way you deserve to be loved. Okay, I've blabbed on too much. I'm going to end it right here. I hope these 16 tactics that I've shared with you today will help you while you're, again, coping in the narcissistic dynamic until you break free. Please feel free to contact me or message me. I can answer any of your questions. I'm always here and available. Until next time, please take care of yourself and stay safe. Ciao, ciao. I hope you liked this video. Please do hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. Thank you for watching.